Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. We're presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Time to shine the light on the Navy women's side of track and field as Army lies ahead on the marquee coming up for the Navy track and field teams this weekend with Sami Bollinger. And Sami, I just got to ask you real quick. When the Bollinger sisters showed up, did everybody just kind of like say, we got no shot today? What an incredible family of athletes that you all have been able to put together, in preparation for this, just reading about it. What was it like to grow up? Obviously, I'm sure it's competitive, your siblings, but also to be able to share the brilliance you all have, had the pleasure of competing and earning through the years, to be able to share that with each other. What's that been like?
Yeah, it was awesome growing up. My whole family's involved. Obviously, both my older sisters did Division I track as well, and my mom actually started out as our track coach back at our little Lutheran school. I was in fourth grade when I first started, and she was my track coach. And then I had my older sisters there as well. And then my dad is basically the doctor of the family, so he has like all of our vitamins and all of our rehab lined up for us. We have everything you could imagine at our house rehab wise. And just growing up, going to all my sisters' meets and games, like they were both multi-sport athletes, so was I in high school. And so it was just super fun experience. Obviously, very sports oriented in the house, so that was the topic of most dinner conversations.
I mean, it's truly extraordinary. I mean, you got one that can go run a steeplechase if necessary. I mean, you got basketball in the background. You got all kinds of different disciplines within track and field. As you watch them compete, though, how did that influence your mindset on what you wanted to do as a competitor, as you searched for which disciplines that you did best eventually that allowed you to become a Division I track athlete as well?
Yep, so I watched both my sisters obviously from a young age, and my mom put me in cross country in fourth grade, and I realized that I was not going to follow my middle sister's path, Skylar being a cross country runner and steeplechaser. So, watching my oldest sister, Mackenzie, that's what I decided I wanted to be like. She was a really good basketball player as well. So I stayed in basketball all the way until my senior year of high school. And then I followed right in her footsteps of being a triple jumper. And I knew I always wanted to triple jump. It was just the most fun to me. And I wanted to be like my big sister. And so she was actually recruited to triple jump at Indiana, but she had ACL surgery and they transformed her into a 400 hurdler. But honestly, she could do anything. She was probably the most athletic in the family. But yeah, I was kind of watching my oldest sister Mackenzie. I really followed in her footsteps most of the way.
You've come to a track program that has a terrific culture, so good that they essentially blended both the men's and women's rosters together now. You'll share, the program with each other, one big happy family. So many influences. I asked Jacques Guillaume this earlier. Because of that, there are a lot of voices out there that you can hear, that you can listen to, that you can be influenced by. How do you sort through all of that to make sure you're hearing the things you need to hear and thus take those things, to the track with you and obviously perform your best?
Yeah, honestly, our team is super supportive. We're, I would argue, like one of the closest teams on the yard, and I've had some super great influences on the team. Just past athletes, Molly Chapman, she was like the girl I looked up to my whole time here until she graduated last year, and so we still remain really close. We're still texting almost every single day, and she was just very motivational for me. And me, Julia Mesa, and Molly Chapman, we were like the triple jump trio, and we were so close. We did everything together, and that's just what really motivates me, is having those mentors and those best friends on the team, as well as just our captains. All of our captains this year are super influential. They're there for us no matter what. They've been texting us every single day, just getting in the mindset for Army this week. So everyone on the team is super supportive, and I'm very blessed to be on this team.
Was going to say, from the moment you arrive here, they tell you about leadership. They talk about leadership. They're going to help you become a leader. And your team talks about the quality of those firsties, and these are the people you need to follow. At first, they're just words, but now that you've lived it a little bit, and seen it come to truth, what is that like, and what are those mentors? Describe kind of what those mentors mean, because I mean, let's face it, they're Molly's is strong a leader as there's been within that program, certainly in recent history.
Yeah, so honestly, it was like a little overwhelming at first coming here, but it was just something I was never used to. But the track team has made everything a million times better, and it's just that's where I think I've learned most of my leadership experience so far. And having someone on the team now like Elena Schloter, she is our captain, our outdoor captain, and from when I was a plebe, she just immediately took me under her wing. I was pretty shy coming in here, and she would just come into my room all the time, like in the halls, and make sure I felt comfortable at practice because I was pretty quiet, and she really broke me out of my shell. And she's the type of leader that I also look up to, just because she will not let you just pass through here. She always makes sure she's known wherever she goes and in the best way. And she's always so loving and supportive to everyone on the team. So that's the one I look up to, who I want to be like.
As you stand at the end of that runway, what do you see, if anything, as you get set to focus in and obviously try to perform? But what are you thinking? What are you looking at as you stand at the end of the runway?
Right in the beginning, I have my routine I do, just jumping up and down, and I slap my legs really hard. Just like I'm like a pretty aggressive jumper, I would say. I have to be super angry to jump, which sounds weird, but I'm not like the fastest jumper on the team. Julia's probably fast, I'm more power, so I definitely have to like get my adrenaline up and get going. And I make sure I'm a Christian. I always say a little prayer, talk to God right before I run down that runway. And yeah, I'm just looking up to the sky. Hopefully I never come down. That's the goal.
You think about it, when you perform and you're part of a family that uh, has performed at a high level. Was there ever any sense of pressure that you had to get to a certain level, or it wasn't going to be enough for you individually? I'm not even talking about, worried about what, people on the outside talking or anything like that. But was there ever any pressure that you felt going, man, if I don't do what my sisters did, then it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be fulfilling enough for me.
Yeah, there definitely was in the house. Because I'm most like my sister Mackenzie, I would get a lot from my mom and dad, like Mackenzie would do this and you're not, and just like more jokes, but I felt the internal pressure to do something big, whether in track or I was hoping basketball, honestly, but I just ended up being best at track like my sisters. So there was pressure to go to a big D1 school and whatnot. But either way, my parents are super proud of all of us, obviously, and my sisters are so supportive. My middle sister, Skylar, wishes that she would have come to the Naval Academy after seeing my experience here. So, yeah.
Well, obviously, take us inside that feeling this week as you prepare. Clearly, trying to PR is obviously your goal. You want to do your best every single time that you go out there. But within the team concept, what is it like this week, knowing that the other four letters are on the marquee and you're just trying to stay as calm and level-headed as you can to make sure you peak on Saturday?
So this week, we're like all in this week. I think this is the most I have ever been locked in for Army Week, honestly. I from like my diet to all the vitamins that my dad has me set up on that plan, to my sleep, to all the recovery. I have so much recovery stuff in my room. I go to our trainer Heather every day after practice. Like, we are just all super locked in this week, and every single night me and Julia have been looking at all of the TFERS rankings, us versus Army. We're just calculating it all. We're like looking at each individual event group, looking at the athletes, the girls we have there, I think we're looking like we're in pretty good shape, but it's just like staying on our toes and never settling, just always being ready because we want to come out there and we don't want to just win, like we want to dominate. So that's the mindset this week.
I know your sisters had great rivals within their conference, but there's only one Army Navy. That will always be something that you have on that sweater for yourself. Appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend as you compete against the Black Knights.
Thank you so much.